reaction to the latest bombings in Kyiv?
Well, I think it's an abomination, and the Russian aggressors and the invasion that has been undertaken by President Putin has been barbaric from day one. As Defence Minister, I'm incredibly proud of the fact that we were able to provide about $280 million worth of support to the Ukrainian government. I had very constructive video calls with the Ukrainian Defence Minister to talk about what it was that they needed, and we were able to provide that support. But the bombings of schools, of shopping centres, of apartment blocks, the world is rightly outraged at what President Putin is doing. The slaughter of innocent men, women and children shouldn't be tolerated at any time, but not in the year 2022. And the sooner the Russians are able to leave the Ukraine, the sooner the reconstruction can start and people can return back to their homes. So I find it deeply offensive and upsetting when you see these scenes of innocent people being injured or killed.
Do you think Anthony Albanese, while in Europe, should visit Ukraine?
Well, I hope that he can, and that will be based on the security and the intelligence advice. If it's safe for the Prime Minister to go to the Ukraine, I think it's important for him to do so, because I think there is now this unbreakable bond between the Ukraine and Australia. The Ukrainians I think the Ukrainians have shown an incredible spirit, almost like an Anzac spirit that we would know in our country. President Zelensky is a modern-day hero, and he's inspired his people and, frankly, the rest of Europe and the world in the support of sanctions and in the support of the Ukrainians in their darkest hour. And I think our two countries now are joined forever because of the support that we've provided, the respect that we've shown them, and I think that support should continue, and I'm sure it will under this government.
The Ukraine ambassador has called...
How would you define a success for Anthony Albanese at the NATO summit?
Well, I'm really more interested in the success for the Ukrainian people, and I want to see NATO take concrete action and for our government to support concrete action that will see the Russian war in the Ukraine stop and allow those kids to go to school and to go to shopping centres without the threat of these attacks. And I think that's the most important outcome for NATO.
The Ukraine ambassador this morning called for greater support of Ukrainian forces, including the increased supply of weapons. Do you back this call from the ambassador, and should Australia provide more weapons?
Yes, I do. And as I say, I demonstrated that as Defence Minister. I thought it very important to provide the weapon systems and the support that the Ukrainians had requested, where we could do that, where it didn't deplete our stocks to a point where we were vulnerable. And obviously we made a decision to send the Bushmasters as well, which was a direct request from President Zelensky when he addressed the joint sitting of our parliament. So there's more that we can do, and I'm sure that'll be considered by the government. We would strongly support fresh decisions by Mr Miles and Mr Albanese to provide that support to the Ukrainians, because they need it, and the Russians will continue this onslaught. This war is not going to come to an end quickly, it seems, and we need to continue as a free world to be able to provide that support to the Ukrainians.